All right, welcome everybody. We are on webinar number 24. It is August 5th. I appreciate y'all joining us where we're going to go over basically the market breadth. We're going to look at where we stand, where we were before. We're also going to go over some of our calls that we've made within the group. And we'll go into a coin of the week, and then we'll leave some questions for you at the very end. So please hold those. Without further ado, I would like to pass over to Cryptonic, where he's going to go over the market for us.
All right. Hey, thank you, Cameron. This is Cryptonic. Always excited to be here on Sunday evening, 9 p.m. Eastern. Going to cover a little bit about the market update, share with you a lot of news articles. I took a lot of screenshots just so we can get through them quickly and briefly cover the news. There is a lot of bullish information coming out about the whole cryptocurrency space. So that's what I'm going to share with you guys. And then we'll also look at the chart of Bitcoin that we do every week. So to jump in a little bit, I want to talk about the historical prices of Bitcoin. And I always like to look at last year to the date and see where we're at today. That's how you can get a true picture of a bullish or bearish trend. When we look at, the day by day or minute by minute, we don't get a real true picture. So last year on the same day, we were at Bitcoin of $3,214 and a little over 7,000 we are at right now. Ethereum was about 258 exactly a year ago, and we're at 411, so about double. And Ripple was about 18 cents last year on the same day and 43 cents now. So even though we had the big price spike up to 19,000 Bitcoin, Ethereum almost 1,400, Ripple $3, even after that correction and we're coming down to a stabilization area, we're still up from where we were last year. And that's something key to remember. So I just want to share that with you guys. Next thing we'll really look at as kind of the history of the price swings in the up and down market. So between 2013 and 2015, it was an 87% downtime. There was a whole year where they were down 87%, but when it took off, it gained 180%. Then in 2016, we had a 47% correction, and then it gained 215% after that. 2017, last year, down 40% and then gained 371%. So you see, every time that we have this correction and we're down between 40 and maybe even 80%, that gain has been exponential. 180% gain, 215 gain, 371 gain. So where do we see 2018 going? Oh, that's kind of what we're here to really help guide you guys through, make sure that we're on track. So on the right-hand side, this is the chart that we've always been using to track Bitcoin, and we'll go into it further, a little deeper. But I want to show where that little green arrow was pointing down. That is a correction that we had back in 2017. See how minuscule that looks compared to where we're at now. And in the future, the same thing, the correction that we're having now is going to look very minuscule from where we go. So a lot of new stuff by Coinbase. Every week, Coinbase is putting out new information. So first thing I want to cover, they announced the possibility of adding 5 new assets. There's no guarantee, but this is what they mentioned. They're going to be adding ADA, BAT, Basic Attention Token, Stellar Lumens, XLM, Zcash, and 0x. All have the potential of being added to Coinbase. Next thing that they mentioned is they launched Coinbase Custody. They are launching 37 new assets, including Ripple, EOS, and XMR. So what is Coinbase Custody? A real quick synopsis, it is an insurance for the coins itself, not for the price. And this is for institutional investors to be able to invest in the market. Usually they have requirements that they can only invest in things that are guaranteed, not price, but the actual safety of it. And with them having this now, they can guarantee that their coins will be safe and secure and not susceptible to hacks or losing them. Very similar to in traditional stock markets, all stockbrokers have to be SIPC insured. Different than FIDC, but SIPC insured, it doesn't guarantee the stock price, but it guarantees that the broker or the firm is not going to leave with your shares of Apple. It insures the actual quantities. And that's what Coinbase Custody is looking at doing, adding 37 digital assets to their custody program so institutional investors can buy them and hold them in a secure, safe way. And that will allow these big institutional investors to come into the space. Next thing, big news, ETC support has been added to Coinbase. They are doing their final testing, and on Tuesday, August 7th, they expect to be open to withdrawals or deposits on Coinbase. So we are looking to see another big spike, hopefully in ETC once it gets added, allowing pretty much the average user to be able to buy Ethereum Classic. Right now, you have to do it through Bittrex, Binance, Poloniex, a lot of other sites that you might have to buy something on Coinbase, transfer it over. It requires a little more work, where sometimes these people aren't maybe as versed in how to do that, but when it is on Coinbase, it makes it super easy for people to buy. A little more about ETC. It surpassed the NEO market cap at 1.8 billion. So it just surpassed Dash, NEO, and it's really taken on, hopefully soon, the number 10 spot in the market cap. A little bit about the chart. I know Cameron's going to go over the ETC to Bitcoin chart, but this is the ETC to US dollars. Right now, we're at about 1763. Its previous highs were about $44, and we're expecting for it to at least see its previous highs after the launch of Coinbase. Can be right away. It could be a little bit of time before everybody gets in, but I am definitely looking to sell my first few lots around that $45 to $50 mark. And that's a 2.5 times gain right now from where you're sitting at. So if you invested $100, you'd be looking at about $250 if you sold your full position at the $44 mark. If you invested $500, you're looking at $1,250, or $1,000. I missed a zero, sorry guys. If $1,000, you'd be at $2,500 if you sold your full lot. Next thing, Ripple's coming out with a lot of news. Ripple's got a conference at the end of the year called the Ripple Fall Tech Conference. They are having former President Bill Clinton give a keynote speech about cryptocurrencies and the value of Ripple and XRP. Big headways for Ripple. Also partnering with Madonna to help fundraising. We also got a new decentralized exchange being launched in San Francisco on the Ripple platform. So lots of new things coming out for Ripple. I'm excited to see what's going to happen at the conference. I know in the past it's usually been a 2-day conference. They've had the Federal Reserve. They've had a lot of big keynote speakers there talk about different things that are coming out. So I'm excited to keep track of that. Some other things in the news. Gallup poll, they're famous for doing surveys. Only 2% of US investors own Bitcoin, but 26% are intrigued. So if you're on this webinar or part of our JP program and you have Bitcoin, you are part of the 2% that owns Bitcoin. And that is still such a small space. They were predicting between 5 and 10% of the population by 2020 will have Bitcoin. So we're still on the ground stages. Next thing in the news, the Bitcoin ETF was rejected by the SEC. Now, they did not rule it out completely. They just ruled that it's too volatile at the moment, and they are postponing their decision till the middle of September. So, you know, whether that's good or bad, some people don't want to see it on the ETFs because that can just leave way for more market manipulation and allow people to short. But what we've seen in the past is going up into the actual launch date of the ETF, we see a big price spike. And that's how we got the $19,000 Bitcoin price at the beginning of the year, is when they announced the futures. And there was a big run up in price right up into the futures date. Once it launched, then we had a correction. So we could see something similar if they enable an ETF. Next big thing in the news, if you like coffee, Starbucks. Starbucks in the past mentioned they were getting into the crypto space. They recently put out an article just to clarify with everybody how they are doing it. And a little bit about this news article, they mentioned that they will not accept Bitcoin directly, but they are partnering together to build a Starbucks app where you'll be able to sell your Bitcoin for fiat to use at Starbucks. So it seems like they do not want to accept the Bitcoin, but they want to give you the capability to convert your cryptocurrency. And they said it wasn't just Bitcoin, it was going to be multiple digital assets to convert them on your phone immediately into the US dollar price and use that same app to go ahead and purchase your coffee at that time. Which honestly, I kind of like that because I can hold my crypto in that asset. And as it appreciates, so is the US dollar value. And then if I want to go buy a $3 cup of coffee, I only need to cash in that amount at that time for the current spot price. So very interesting, Starbucks getting into the space. Some other news, we covered it last week, but I want to jump into a little bit more. The ex-Trump advisor, Steve Bannon, he is making his own cryptocurrency. Ethereum is acquiring a new domain name. It's going to be .lux, and .lux allows anything on the ERC20 platform to have its own website and URL platform. If you remember in the past, probably about 6 months to 8 months ago, Amazon and a lot of other competitors were buying up .eth, cryptocurrency.eth. All these different websites that end in ETH. And whether this is to be in conjunction or maybe the Ethereum developers decided, you know what, everyone owns .eth, we're developing our own platform for all the ERC20 tokens. Just very interesting. That's more to come on their new domain name. We talk about a lot of major retailers getting in the space. Walmart is working on a patent to go ahead and make a smart appliance. Probably something that would be able to detect your food supplies, go ahead and order for you right on the blockchain. HTC phone developer states that they are going to start accepting or have support on their smartphones for Litecoin. So some type of HTC Pay will be able to add Litecoin on there. To talk a little bit about Bitcoin itself, they are still saying it's about 5 to 7 years away from mass adoption on the cryptocurrency space. And that's what I say. Right now, we're only 2% of the population has type of Bitcoin or digital asset. So 5 to 6 years away, then we can see a lot more people and businesses accepting Bitcoin. So there's a lot of development to go, but this is how you make big money, is investing 5 to 6 years before the masses do. And last, we mentioned this last week, but the Block Show announced that they were going to be doing it at the this is going to be Venetian, the Palazzo. It's going to be in Las Vegas, August 20th through the 21st. Sure, a lot of big name cryptocurrency will be there. I'm excited to see who's going to be on the list, who's going to be presenting, and kind of what they're talking about. So I might be able to have an edge to get into some cryptocurrency before the conference. All right, that ends the slideshow, guys. Want to cover a little bit about Bitcoin, where we're at right now. So this is the chart that we've always been using to kind of track where we're at. This red line used to be the previous support, and right now it is still acting as a resistance. Remember, anytime support is broken, it turns into a resistance. So we bounced off of this yellow line, hit the resistance, and we're coming back down. Hopefully we stabilize somewhere in the 67 to 7,000 range and make another attempt to try to break through. I did put a note, the Bitcoin ETF postponed until middle of September. As far as that, we are just looking at really holding the main line of the 5,800, kind of where we see. Good news is that the RSI is back down to about 38 to 40%. So we could see a little bit more downside before we make another run up to try to break above the 70% RSI. That covers the Bitcoin news. I'm really excited to hear about the calls that we had, kind of where our calls did, and then to learn about the coin of the week. So I'll pass it over to you, Cameron.
Awesome. Appreciate y'all being here. Let me see. I'm going to start sharing my screen. All right, here we go. Okay. So first I want to go over a couple of the calls that we talked about. This is ETC. We put this in the group. And as you can see, if we get our little highlighter here, this is where we talked about, accumulating. This is about the 14.45 on the USD. And with that, I wanted to kind of go into exactly what this momentum right here, equated to. So I'm going to switch over to this view. And here we are. Okay. So dollar amount in here's another. Oh, look, there's a previous call that we made back around April. So the great thing about that move is that, and actually this kind of lines up with a couple of the lines that we did before. You can see right here, um, you know, star. This could have been another accumulation zone right here. We're already up to like 17, so when we were talking about investing 14, you were at the ground floor, kind of making it up there. So follow those calls in the group. If you're not part of the group, it's super simple to get in there. $10 for your first month, and then $99 for the whole year. You won't find that pricing anywhere. I mean, it's just we've done the research, and you just won't find that. So that kind of goes into ETC right there. The next one I want to talk about is ADA. So here we are, call place. You can see, kind of the same, MO here. You can see that we definitely have some green in there, and this is a beautiful pattern. You go back even before 2018. There's a touch there, touch, and then here we are, right? So this is acting as support right now. It remains to be seen, but you can see, we have this wedge pattern right here. We would really want to see this, kind of bounce around in here and then just break. And then we'll be looking at, this blue level, orange levels right here in the future. So keep an eye on that bad boy as well. Last one I want to touch on was Dash, and this is a beautiful chart. And I'll kind of be going a little bit more in depth on this in a little bit, but you could see, we had a circle back here, same type of thing here, touch, and we're going. This is what mid 2016. This is back in looks like 2015, and then we're back at this level. So this is a very, very, very strong level right here. So 1, 2, 3, we're looking for blast off. We got this little airplane signal that if we break just like the same pattern here, we got a wedge. I think we're still going to have some bouncing around in there. We will have some volatility, but this is a beautiful, beautiful pattern. So with that being said, I'd like to go into the coin of the week, which is Dash. Imagine that. So I think we went over this like a long time ago, but I think Dash is kind of cool. It's digital cash, basically is what it is. It's pretty much instant. Transfer between people, merchants, and everything like that. I mean, it's super, super, super fast. The one thing that I like about this is it doesn't use the original ASIC protocol, so not everybody can mine it. Okay, so I think that kind of keeps it at bay. There's only certain miners. It's the X11 type of algorithm, and I think that's pretty cool. The one thing that I really wanted to highlight on this is that they do have what's called private send, so you can kind of mask your transactions. However, nothing is 100% unless you're like Monero or something like that. But I thought that was pretty cool. Private send, and then this is I thought was really interesting as well. This is called start mixing. So basically, what you can do is take your coins and kind of put them what I would call like a tumbler. It basically takes your coins and it just kind of splits them up between multiple transactions, and then it's a lot harder, to really, track where your money's going. So someone who's a little bit more on the cautious side doesn't want people to know where the money is going and such like that. I want to kind of bring up and show you what that means. So right inside, you see this main address right here, which is this one, and then you have 51 addresses kind of mixed in to there as well. So you could rename these, maybe one's for buying shoes, one's for buying coffee, one's for, using on Newegg. So you have different addresses, and therefore you'd have to track all these different addresses to see where these Dash are going. So, a little bit more privacy there. than some of the other coins. You could see that they also pride themselves on being the fastest growing network here as well. So you can kind of see, this exponential kind of curve right here into how many active master nodes there are out there, which nodes being the computers that are basically taking these transactions through them. So you have a master node here, another one here, all the transactions, let's say there's one here and here, all these transactions are kind of bursting through these master nodes, bouncing back and forth to keep it private. So really anybody who owns a master node would only see what's going through their particular node, if that makes sense. So I know I'm getting a little bit deep, but it kind of goes over Dash. It's secure. They have a different type of, they're not using the 256 algorithm, which means that you have only specific mining, servers are able to handle these transactions. So, to me, that's safe. That means that somebody really can't take take over the coin, because once you have over 50% on, mining on a coin, they can actually call the shots. So you don't want that. Okay. So let's click on merchants. Let's see what we see there. Kind of curious here. Okay, so we got a lot of VPN and hosting. Let's see, some business services, social media. That's good. Okay, some gift cards in there, games, casinos. That's good to see. Casinos are coming back. Web stores. So got quite a list here, though. I like it. Here, look at that. Crypto coffee. Cool. Another coffee. So we have, just a handful of different types of things here, even precious metals, which I think is phenomenal. Anybody using crypto to trade the actual physical entities of the world, I think that's amazing. So very cool there. We could go into more, but I think I might save that for another time. With that, we're going to go ahead and take questions right now. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat pod, and we'll go over that. Could it be about Dash? If you want me to dive a little bit deeper, I can do that as well. Just let me know. So while you're thinking about your questions, I wanted to show you this beautiful chart, and I'm draw a couple lines. So I wanted to give you a little bit of time to think about your questions before I went into it. But I'm gonna pop a line down here just to show you Dash. Look at this, perfect. Just drew that line real quick, but you can see rejected here, strong level here. So this coin has a lot of potential. You can see the two lines that we drew before. So before we were trading in from here to here, okay, and we hit the take profit, and obviously probably scaled out right there, okay. But this new line right here, this is where we want to look. So very cool. How many Dash do you need for a master node? It's a great question. Off the top of my head, Kryptonic, do you remember? I thought it was I don't know. I thought it was low, but I could be wrong. Let me see. Let's pull it up. Let's learn together. Master nodes are required to have 1,000 Dash collateral, a dedicated IP address, and to be able to run 24 hours a day with no more than 1 hour connection loss. That's pretty interesting. So if not, you're not able to do that. So we could talk a little bit about master nodes now while we're here. So essentially, master node is a dedicated computer that can actually take transactions in and out of it, and then for doing so, you are paid in microtransactions for actually doing that. So as those transactions kind of flow through your computer, you're able to make money. So anybody that has the money to put up this, in my opinion, being a miner as well, could save you money on electric. So this is a awesome kind of process. But let's see, what would that be? 1,000 Dash at? How much is it at right now? Kryptonic,
$210.
200. So that's a big upfront.
$200,000.
If you got that laying around, I mean, that's awesome. But Somebody was asking me about that masternodes, but yeah,
There's some pretty cheap masternodes you can set up. I mean, I've looked into Snow Gem and Loki and some of the small cap coins where you only need, a couple hundred coins and the coins are like $1 a piece. So
mhm.
there's some masternodes you can set up for 100 or $200.
Well, and I agree with you, but another thing you want to do is, like we talk about in the pro courses, making sure that you're researching the coin. You're not just master noding a what we call a shit coin or just a coin that's never going to be around.
Yeah,
But
I did notice that. I started collecting a coin. I can't remember the name of it. I think you needed only like $100 of them. I started collecting them, and then I noticed halfway through that there was no transactions on that node.
oh,
So it was just
yeah.
like an empty nodes. Like there's nobody processing stuff, so it's pointless.
It reminds me of like a nasty, like horrible way to ICO a coin. Here, create a master node with us and see zero transactions. But yeah. So do your research first, please. Don't throw all your money out there. There's been a lot of news on certain coins. I can remember I made a mistake a while ago about B2X. There was talks about that, and then limited by certain exchanges and just didn't work out. And now I have some of this that was worth hundreds of dollars, and now it's worth like nothing. So do your research. Know who the team is, know what they want, what they stand for, and the future and all the good stuff. So, I've seen a lot of great articles about how in the future, these coins will be weeded out. There's tons of coins that manipulate. They do the same thing. You know, when Bitcoin came out, it was phenomenal because it was decentralized. It was this, it was that, but every coin now is decentralized. You know, what exactly is the next step? ETC, for instance, that they're evolving and changing. So I really like to see that. Kind of went on a tangent, but okay. Frank asked for a review on IOST. Did Frank ask us about this before? I feel like he has. About the weirdest coins ever. Let's see. IOST. Let's see what we got. Scalable, secure blockchain app platform. Rank 54. Okay. Moving up in the world. It's 2 cents right now. Let's see. Oh, okay. I could see the first thing I look at is the trend. Okay, so the trend is your friend before it bends. So, kind of going sideways, right now. You can see this block right here. Not a lot going on. But let's see. Curious. Now you get me curious. What does this coin do? Okay, scalable, secure. Let's look at the white paper. Even though it's probably gonna EDS. Epochs. Okay, everybody looks about the same as any other one. Bitcoin and proof of work. Let me see what's going on here. Sorry, I'm just skimming here. I just want to kind of see if something stands out. Because like I said, not all coins are created equal. Scale out. Is he holding this coin or? Okay, so we got decentralized apps, smart contracts, HUDs. Let's see. Data storage services are the backbone of the ecosystem. I like that. I think storage is the next thing on some of these coins because due to electric, how much these miners are spending. I think that storage is really going to be the future. It uses a lot less oil and gas and all that stuff. Let's see. I'm seeing some like exchanges. Binance, all right. Robinhood. Oh, look at you. I don't know. Krypton, have you heard anything great or exciting about this?
I can't say I have. I know Frank just bought it today,
Okay.
so he was curious on our opinion.
Take a look at the team. Oh,
Uh-oh, this doesn't
Yeah,
look good.
this is a red flag for me. Thank you.
Cartoon.
I'm glad you said uh-oh, because you have like this Jimmy Hong, Tan. So here's all right. I'm gonna give you guys a nugget here. So this is how you know there's a red flag immediately. What do you see that's in common here? Kryptonic. See anything common?
Oh, I mean these could be real people because there are like little LinkedIn things next to it. Maybe you can click on, but
They're all
um,
LinkedIn. There's no other links, just LinkedIn.
mm,
This is how I got, I'm going to say, crypto fished on B2X. So they only had the LinkedIn, thing there, which I could put anything on there. I could say I'm an astronaut. You don't really know, right? But there's no other things like give me a Twitter, give me a Facebook, give me anything. LinkedIn, I can just do whatever. Here, let's click on somebody and see what happens. Just curious. Okay.
oh shit. Okay, her cartoon looks like her picture kind of.
Okay. New York City. She's in human resources. All right, let's go back. But I think you get the point. Let me see. So let's look at this guy. Let's look at somebody, athlete, singer, programmer. See if this guy has any programming, background or what have you. You could really dive down when you look at some of these LinkedIn's and such. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, computer science. Okay, I can kind of see that. Um, 500 plus connections. All right. I mean, you never know, let's see. iOS developer, web. But I do, I deep dive, I want to see, is this guy real? Does he have endorsements? Doesn't, I don't know. I'd probably look into that. Like, do people actually endorse him as a coder? Or is he just someone who just set up a new LinkedIn, is brand new and just kind of putting what people want to see down here? Okay, um, so we'll see. We'll see. It's ranging though. It's kind of going sideways, so could could be good for a flip. Yeah, room for like one more question, I think, before we end it out. Let's see. What's the lowest BTC could go? I'm gonna let you take this one, Kryptonic. You want me to pull up the chart?
Yeah, yeah.
Pull it
Pull up
up.
the chart. I mean, there's a couple of things that we got to look at when we're talking about the lowest that BTC can go. You're going to look at the support levels is one thing you definitely want to look at, but then also, John McAfee and a lot of other people stated that you have to look at the cost to mine a BTC to make where it be insolvent, where the miners would actually be losing money to mine Bitcoin. And it wouldn't be the first time, but usually that's a rare case that it's going to go below. And these big farms like Bitmain and Bitfly, they're not going to allow Bitcoin to go that low where they are in the negative. So they usually have enough manipulation power to keep it above their cost.
What do you
Just
think
like when
the
you look,
lowest cost is? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
the lowest cost that I think I've read is in the 4,200 mark.
Okay, sorry about here. Okay.
So with that being said, looking at the chart, the lowest it can go. Well, I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. The lowest it can go is zero.
Yeah, of course.
That is the lowest. I mean, but is that likely? Very unlikely. Right now, I would say somewhere in that 5,800 mark is kind of our really low. Can you put a line at the bottom of that big candle there? Yeah, there you go. So
Yeah,
what's that mark
5,800.
at?
Yeah, just about that.
Okay,
58.95 or so.
cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's
Very
kind of
close.
what I'm thinking is one of the lowest it could really go. If it breaks that, then I would definitely say in that 4,200 mark is going to be the next really low, even though that's not a big support level. That's where a lot of miners are going to try to push it up above. But I mean, the momentum that we've been seeing right now, it's been holding the 6,800 to 7,000 mark. So, I mean, I'm hoping that we just really maintain that and try to make another push past the 7,800. Our big hurdle is to get above 10,000. That's probably the really big hurdle. But to answer the question, right now, 58. If that breaks, I'm going to say 42.
Okay, and then
But
easily manipulated at that point to kind of push it above, because miners obviously don't want to lose money. You know, they have millions and millions of dollars into some of these farms, so that they don't want to lose. So you get it.
yeah,
They
and I
probably,
mean, not to say like when some small coins where they can just push the price, but when these big farms have that much power too, they
oh yeah,
have some of them hold 20%, 30% of all Bitcoin out there. They can easily
they just buy
manipulate the
right
price.
into it. Yep, yep, makes sense. One more question before we close it out. So, had a question. So, a lot of talk about ETC lately. So why are you so in this is a question for me and somebody else in the group, but why are you so keen on the ETC lately? Do you see something in ETC that you don't see in ETH?
It's a great question. I think it's really undervalued based off of kind of where we've been. So if you know the history of Ethereum Classic, it was really the first Ethereum out there that was developed, and off of that forked the Ethereum that we know as of now. My two biggest bull cases are definitely the addition to Coinbase. So if you've been in the crypto space long enough, I remember when Litecoin first went on Coinbase. Litecoin went on Coinbase at about $20 to $22 when it launched. After it launched, it quickly went to $40 to $60. And then we had that bull run all the way up to $300. And really, that run from the 20 to 40 and 60 was because it was so easily accessible for people to buy. Coinbase is the number one app and the number one purchasing platform for cryptocurrency. So that's the number one bullish case, is that it's being added on there at such a low price. But two, it remained in the dark for so long. For about 2 years, there wasn't a whole lot of dev activity. And recently, they have a lot of new developers. A lot of the old developers are taken back over, and they have a lot of projects in the works. They've already had 2 forks of it to test the scalability of the coin. So they're actually putting in a lot of work where in the past it wasn't. So there was always I would say, an equation or a ratio, just like there's a silver to gold ratio, or silver and gold stay in a certain ratio throughout its growth. There was always a ratio of Ethereum Classic to Ethereum, say 1 by 18 or 1 by 24, I forget the exact ratio, and they always grew at the same pace. But then middle of last year, Ethereum took off because of all the ICOs, and Ethereum Classic didn't keep up with that ratio. Now that Ethereum Classic has the developers working on it again, they have new products and platforms on there. I'm hoping to see that close the gap and get a little closer to the same ratio it used to have. So I hope that answers it. The two things: Coinbase definitely, and then the devs really getting in it and starting to really rebuild it. And I mean, the risk to reward right now, in my opinion, is so low. The lowest that we've seen it in so long is what, $12, $10, and the probability of it going to $40, $50, you're risking, $5, a coin, compared to some of these other coins that you're risking a lot more.
Yeah, I feel you. Because I mean, if you wanted to really put in some money to Bitcoin, let's say you wanted to buy a few of them, it's going to cost you quite a bit. But in order to get into something at a less than a $20 market right now is pretty good. What do you see market cap versus what if market cap was to take off with this coin, could you see it in the let's say hundreds or something like that?
I got to pull up the current market caps right now, to be honest with you. Let's pull up Coin Market Cap if you don't mind.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious. I mean, I know you're really savvy with the market cap side of that, so I'd be curious to see if you could, see it. We talked about XRP and some other coins like that would just never make it above cents just due to the market cap. So, let's see here.
Let's see. Ethereum market cap 41. So one.
All right, so here we are.
1 billion. So it's got a 1.8 billion, kind of like we said before,
Yeah.
compared to Ethereum is at a 41 billion. Let's see. It normally traces by a third, so divided by 3. Okay. So I think easily we could see a 13, I mean, we have 10 to a $13 billion market cap if we are a third
Wow.
of what Ethereum is. So just to do the math, then let's see, there's 103. Yeah, let's try to do some quick math. 13 billion.
13. So that's like 13. Um, let's say double the price at least, or 10 times. Sorry,
Yeah,
176 or
yeah,
so.
yeah. It'd be 10 times.
Yeah.
So then 10 times, so
Yeah.
$170, right?
Yeah.
So,
$170.
yep.
Okay. 100
So
times
now
increase. Whew.
a lot of people are saying there's going to be about 3 really hard mental resistant levels for Ethereum Classic.
Uh-huh.
One is going to be $50.
Of course.
Then the next hard level to break is $100.
100.
And then the next is going to be 200. I mean, those are just theoretical numbers that people have a hard time, they usually sell when it hits those levels.
Right.
And that's kind of where I'm going to be scaling out. I'm going to be selling probably 25% of my holdings at 50. And if we break 100, I'll probably sell another 25%. And then I'll hold that other 50% all the way till we get to 200. If that's where we go.
What's the coin we sold at like 6? What was that? Ethereum? $6.
Ethereum, yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
six
I sold
dollars
some
or something
Ethereum.
like that. Like, oh my God, it's blowing up. Now look at it,
Yeah.
Ethereum. Holy.
Oh yeah, I looked at
Oh,
some of mine. I bought Ethereum at 6 and sold at 12 and doubled my money.
yep. Fun fact.
Yeah.
So Kryptonic bet me 6 Ethereum back in the day. He still owes me 6 Ethereum. And maybe it was 10.
Well, that, that that was when it was like $6.
Yeah, but it's funny. I mean, it's a bet is a bet. All right. Anyway, with that, we're gonna go ahead and close it out. And I really appreciate you guys being here. Sunday Eastern Standard Time, every other week, as of now. So, Kryptonic, unless you have anything else to add, man, we're gonna go ahead and close it out before the storms start rolling in here in sunny Tampa Bay, Florida. Not sunny, but dark. So yeah, everybody have a great week and trade safe.